the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were lined with adventure, mountains in the way couldn't keep us from the sea. Here we stand, open arms. This is home where we are, ever strong in the world that we made. I
Okay, I was saying I'm a little bit sad I have to turn the music off. I really like that song, so yeah. Welcome everyone, good evening, and welcome to my 105th live stream. Today's moderator is going to be KrzaQ. You can see his nickname right here. Yes, now we are not going to do Pico CTF today for some reason. Well, the reason is actually that I started to play a bit with Twitter.net, which is, I guess, a JavaScript demoscene code golfing website. Long story short, you write small pieces of JavaScript that show some effect in the browser, which is pretty cool. I like that kind of stuff. I like code golfing challenges. I know some JavaScript, so I decided, hey, let's play on it on stream. And there were actually like two reasons to do it. First reason was that I saw it on Twitter. Some folks are posting it on Twitter and it's really cool, and I really was envious of amazing stuff the folks were doing. And the other was that somebody like mentioned that in one of the tweets, and I decided that, hey, maybe I should actually really play with it. So I spent a bit of time on Sunday to get to know like what is it about, and I decided to just like switch today's live stream to chat a bit more about it and just to learn about it, basically to learn some tricks. I might be able to do some simple effects, but I do not expect anything like advanced. Today is just a chance for me to basically get to know the platform better, and I guess also a chance for you folks to get to know the basics of the platform as well, so you can play with it, because it's actually pretty fun and pretty amazing. So yeah, there we have it. Perfect. Yes, now if you have any questions during the live stream, you have to ask KrzaQ, which is my moderator. And yeah, there's also this !Q with a question command that you might want to use, and it then brings the question to my question panel, and I can answer the question later on. So yeah, in general, try both, and yeah, and then the question goes into my panel and I can answer it for you. So we'll get there eventually. Perfect. Do I have any news today? I might have some news. Let's take a look. Sorry, I just need to open the browser because I totally forgot to do it before the live stream. So, okay. Let's start with this one. This is KrzaQ's website. KrzaQ is again my moderator today, so be sure to visit it because it's amazing. I don't know what else should I tell you today. If you were like yesterday on the channel, or you were watching live overflow stream, you know that we are switching to professional Apex Legends streaming. And well, I'm joking, but like if you go to Twitter, and it's actually there are two reasons I want to go to Twitter, you will see that where is it? Yeah, like we even have a clip on Twitch. This is my first ever clip on Twitch with a game. So yeah, like if you enjoy Apex, let us know. We are sometimes playing with other folks from the channel as well, and sometimes well, I'm not going to say we are streaming often, but this is like the second time we already streamed Apex, so like there is something here. Anyway, but I came to Twitter for a different reason. Actually, I'm posting Express.js and Node.js and like different kind of web challenges on Twitter and on our challenges channel on our Discord. So if you're on our Discord or you follow me on Twitter and you like web challenges, you can take a look. There are like 4 levels published right now. It's actually 5, but it's 4. Let's say it's 4 because 2 of them are super similar. And yeah, so if you like web challenges, and like this is the newest one, it was published today, so it's still fresh. Have fun. It's basically, I'm trying to learn Express.js and Node.js, and I'm doing this in a typical fashion of reading the source code, and I'm finding some interesting stuff, and then I make a challenge about it. Basically, that's my type of learning, which I'm doing for Express.js. So yeah, there are challenges. Enjoy, and if you solve them, just like post the part of the flag under the tweet or on our challenges channel on our Discord, wherever you prefer. If you're wondering where is our Discord, there, like this, sorry, where is it? Here, yeah, in this bar, sometimes the link to our Discord appears, so there we have it. Now, what is this Twitter? Twitter.net. Okay, yeah, so this is this kind of website, and this is what we'll be playing today. Again, if you have any questions, you have to chat with KrzaQ, or you have to do !Q and then the question, and that should actually work on YouTube, that should work on Discord, and that should work on IRC. So yeah, KrzaQ has a new bot for YouTube, which also gathers questions on YouTube without you having to ping KrzaQ, but the old way of pinging KrzaQ also works. Anyway, so this is the website, and basically you write, yeah, like code here, and let's make it actually a little bit bigger. And then the effect like appears somewhere here. So yeah, we'll be writing code here, and the effect appears here, and the limit is 140 characters. So that's not a lot of code. 140 characters isn't a lot of code. There are some helper variables and functions, but at the end of the day, yeah, we'll have to... this is a code golfing website, basically, so you have to write really short code. And this is what we'll be playing today. Cool. So, are there any questions? If not, we can jump right to it. I'm actually going to bring myself some water, so if you have any questions, this is a perfect time to do it. Okay, perfect. So, I see a question. Again, if you have a question, !Q and then the question. And it actually works. So, let's... the questions should appear here. How do I know I have enough skills to find a good team and some hints where to find teams? I guess this is CTF related, right? I'm going to assume this is CTF related. So if it's CTF related, then I would go the other way around. I would start with finding a team or creating a team, and then progressing basically from there. You can think about switching to a better team when you get enough skills, or you can just go with your team and, you know, be top 1 on CTF time, because why not, like, whatever works for you. Yeah, like, don't wait with finding a team, basically. And if you're looking for a top team, if you want to join a top team, then that's a question actually for each team individually. So do, like, ping that team, like, what does it take to join you? Some teams might be, like, geographically restricted to be, like, if you're from, I don't know, like, living in California, then you can join this team. Some other teams might be pretty open to everyone, so it really depends on the team you're aiming to. But yeah, like, basically ask. And yeah, CTF is like is something you do in teams, so do actually don't wait with joining a team. Start by joining a team and doing CTFs at the same time. Do not, like, do it at the same time, basically. Look for a team and play CTFs. Okay, and where to find teams? This is the second part of the question. Okay, so on CTF time, there is, like... Okay, let's go to CTF time. But that's an excellent question. I don't think there's a great way to do it right now. ctftime.org. If you go to teams and, yeah, create new team, get team members, I guess, get team members, this is like dating, right? And if you log in, you can like post your profile, basically, and if somebody is looking for new people for a team, then they can grab you from there, like contact you from there. On the other side, if you're creating a team, you can also go there and get members. Apart from that, what worked in the past for teams I know is basically like looking for people, but that was to create a team, looking for people on like programming forums, for example, or like hackerspace forums, or and so on. Like basically places where there are a lot of technical people you can ask where like, yeah, hey, I want to create a CTF team, or I want to join one, do you know one? Apart from that, if you want to join a particular team, yeah, like contact the team. Like that's the end of the answer in that case. Don't overcomplicate this. Any tips on how not to get discouraged from auditing code when you find a bug but can't exploit it? Oh yeah, that's annoying. That's an annoying situation. Sometimes there are like cases where you find a bug and the bug looks really promising and it looks exploitable, and you start the process and writing the exploit, and then it turns out it's not exploitable due to like a quirk, a weird situation in memory layout or so something which you cannot really control due to reasons, and yeah, and you suddenly realize that you synced in like 2 weeks trying to exploit something, yeah, and it's actually a no-go. Yeah, it like happens. It happens from time to time. I mean, I don't think there is a good answer to that. It is going to be a sad moment for you, and I don't think there's like a different way. You just have to deal with this, basically. It happens to everyone. Do not worry about it. Look for another bug, look for more bugs. Maybe another bug will be exploitable. If you do not have the knowledge to exploit a bug, then, well, just learn, right? I mean, okay, I make it sound easy. I realize that learning how to exploit stuff, especially in low-level security, it's not easy. It is a hard subject. It is super complicated. I realize that, but still, like, just go and learn it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but what happens? Like, yeah, I don't have any great tips. It's going to be like, I don't know, go for a walk or whatever works for you. I guess everyone has different ways to deal with stress. If you don't, then find what works for you. Maybe going for a walk, maybe, I don't know, playing Apex Legends, or maybe doing something else. I tried to solve Express.Node.js challenges you've created, but since I'm a junior, I'm struggling with it. What documentation would you recommend so I could learn how to solve them? Okay, so this is a good question. I don't think I'm a junior is a good excuse, because at the end of the day, everyone is struggling with these challenges. There are people who just like solve them like that, but I know a lot of people, even like on higher levels than juniors, do struggle with these challenges because they are pretty specific. Do not worry about it. It's normal. Now, I try to publish some hints from time to time. If you like approach me, I will just tell you, like, ask you where are you at, and I will give you a hint. Because like this is not a CTF. I post the challenges so you can learn about it, you can have fun with it. This is a learning experience. This is not a competition. Totally feel free to approach me about a hint. Or like any other person who solved it. Now, what documentation I would recommend? I would actually not recommend documentation, because I'm not creating these challenges based on documentation. I'm creating them based on source code. So what I would recommend is read the source code of the parts which are unique to the challenge, because like most of it is like boilerplate code, like code which is in like every Express.js or Node.js application, right? But there are parts which are like unique to the challenge. And read like how is it implemented in Express.js or one of the like 50 libraries which actually support Express.js or like Express.js actually uses. And yeah, take a look, how is it exactly handled in the code, what is exactly happening, and think from, you know, from the perspective of what is looking kind of weird here, what are some weird features which are appearing here which are like extra to the basic functionality. And also think like, what can I use this, what I'm looking at, in context of this challenge to actually be able to bypass some protection or like do something. Sometimes you will have to go deeper. In some cases, you would have to go to, for example, the specification of JavaScript, but also looking at Node.js and Express.js documentation might help you in some cases. I know there's like exactly one place in one challenge where you can either figure it out by knowing how JavaScript works, or reading, like finding it out in the specification of JavaScript and the official language specification, right? Like ES6 or whatever. Or by, I think it's also mentioned in Express.js documentation at some point. But again, like, yeah, like it's not about knowing some particular technique, like hacking technique, which you need to learn. It's more about how these libraries work. Yeah, so that's like a long hint to give you. So source code and then maybe documentation related to the unique parts of the of a challenge. And then if you need a hint, just ping me. What shirt is that? The usual, which is that's the Insomni Hack Conference shirt. I have, I don't know, like 10 of these. I really like it. Really like the design, so yeah. Okay, what is your opinion? What, in your opinion, is the best way to keep your skills sharp and relevant? Depends on what area of, like, I don't know, security, programming, or whatever in life you're doing, right? For me, that would be CTFs. Like, I use I use CTFs basically to stay sharp, to have my skills honed. And then, like the stuff I'm going to do today, like which is code golfing, it also allows me to learn weird stuff about languages. Because when you do code golfing being trying to like minimize the source code as much as possible. So when you do code golfing, you find in languages really interesting venues which you would never have explored otherwise. So surprisingly, code golfing might be interesting even for security researchers. Yeah. Apart from that, I mean, you know, the usual, which would be like practice, right? So if you're programming, you're a programmer, then program. Like write a project which you would like to write, or make a challenge for yourself, like, I don't know, 100 small applications in 100 days, like super small, right? I'm not saying like anything big, but super small, and just do it. Even if you fail and you're like, after 14 days, you're like, yeah, like, no, I'm bored of it, then you still have 14 days of more skill. It's okay to fail. Okay. Can you recommend a good resource to learn heap exploitation? Please consider I already can resolve ROP, JOP, SROP, and so on. And okay. I think check the last live stream, the end of the last live stream. So either that or like 2 live streams ago, but like the end when I am answering questions, I did post a lot of heap exploitation results, or ping me on Discord later, because I did also give this list to somebody in a few days ago, so I can just give it to you again. But yeah, I already like addressed this a few days ago on the live stream. Would you guys recommend the tools in Kali or Parrot as a starting point? No. Okay. So this is a misconception which everyone at the beginning has. Everyone, including me. When I started with hacking and security, I had these misconceptions. There is this focus on tools. Tools in hacking matter to some extent, but they're not as important as people claim they are. So at the beginning, it's not about tools. Like, you just see the hundreds of tools in Kali Linux and you'll be like, yeah, I have no idea what is this useful for, and like, how do I even hack something with these tools, right? That's the wrong way to go about it. Tools are useful, but they are useful once you understand how they work and what they do and what they are useful for. And that's the proper way to go about it. Like, if you're into, I don't know, security in general, like, I don't know, like you want to hack something, right? Then you probably start with web security because that's the easiest. And so do some tutorials from web security, like learn about XSS, learn about local file inclusion, remote file inclusion, find some challenges and play with them. you'll probably have to use stuff like, I don't know, burp maybe, maybe Fiddler, maybe Zap proxy, maybe curl, the command line tool. And that will all come organically to you. And then maybe you'll also have to write some Python scripts at some point, or like whatever language scripts. You will have to do programming. I'm sorry, you have to do programming and security. Yeah, so do it that way. And then on that way, look if there are any tools which help you with it. For example, when you're learning SQL injection and you get the basic, you might want to play with SQL map. That's a pretty useful tool for SQL injection. And now you know the basics of SQL injection, you know how to do it manually, and you can use that tool to speed things up. And if something doesn't work, you just go into the source code of SQL map and edit some parts because you understand how it works, and you can change it so that it, like, I don't know, bypasses some protection or whatever, and it works exactly as you like. So this is the proper way around to go, not the other way around. Like if you look at like Kali Linux and you grab a tool like SQL map and then you start asking like, okay, how do I use it to hack something? Then that's the wrong way, basically, from my perspective. And but that's like fine. I know everyone starts with the tools, and I have no idea why is it like everyone I've chatted with who like started with hacking recently, and by recently I mean like in the last 10 years, for some reason thought they had to install like Kali Linux or Backtrack or whatever. No, like use whatever operating system you want. The Kali Linux and Backtracks and so on, like this is useful when you are like to put on your thumb drive when you are already a pen tester, to put it like in your I don't know, like backpack when you go to do an audit for a company and they actually allow you on site. And then then you might want it because they're like, most tools are there, so you just like plug it to a computer and you can play with it then from a live Kali instance, right? So this is when it's actually useful for in real life, but you do not have your own operating system for some reason and you have to use this. But there we have it. Okay, let's do 3 quick more questions and then we are going to skip to the main topic of today's live stream. Do you have any recommendations how to easily read and interpret RFC-based protocols? Because those documents are usually annoying. Yes, they are. That's from No Name. It's basically, I always joked, well, this is actually not a joke. It's the truth, but you have to learn how to read specification like RFC, and this is a skill. Like, you have to learn how to read it, because when you first read it, it will be like reading law documents. This is exactly the same kind of stuff. It's formal language, everything is defined, and if you like read some term, you have to jump to a glossary where there's a definition, or like find it in some other section where it's defined, like this is this. Then they're using like this abstract formal notation for protocols. Yeah, you have to get used to it, but do get used to it. It is a good skill to have. Now, I don't think there's a cheat way to easily read and interpret these documents or the protocols. Find a implementation is usually the thing I would do. Like, I don't know, just go to GitHub and I'm reading about IMAP or whatever. So I go to GitHub and I look up an IMAP interpreter in Python, for example, and I can read the documentation and read the source code and like try to connect one with the other. Like, yeah, that's the way I would do it. Now there is the abstract binary notation format or whatever, like ABNF, I think it's called, in most of these documents, or BNF, which is let me show you actually, which is like a type of formal language for protocols. And it's all over RFC documents. Let's just go to like RFC HTTP, because that's... And if we jump to the end, let's jump to the end. Alright, that's probably doesn't... There's some stuff, but I won't... Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, yeah, so this is like, not the greatest example, but this is this syntax, where you have like some tokens, and then you have like, this must be exactly like it is. This must be exactly like it is, and then this is like something, and you have to look up what is this challenge, and like look this up in the documentation somewhere else. Maybe it's somewhere described somewhere, or maybe you have to find the actual ABNF notation for it as well. Maybe it's like it's somewhere defined, or maybe it's defined in another document because RFC does that for you. This isn't, I think, the greatest example. Let's go to IRC, because why not? We have a channel on IRC after all. So does this have? I'm actually going to go for this one, which is a little bit newer. So RFC is like a lot of protocols are defined in RFC. ABNF. Let's go here maybe. So yeah, this is like a document which describes the ABNF notation. You might want to take a look. It's quite easy at the end of the day how to like read this, right? Now, there are automatic parsers for ABNF notation, which basically you feed a document and, well, not really a document, you have to copy paste it out of a document, and then it gives you something which can parse the ABNF notation, right? It's they work so-so, because in some protocols you have to kind of cheat with the syntax. It's not, it is an official syntax, but it's still a text description of a protocol at the end of the day, so you can like just add a comment here that it kind of behaves differently, and then that parser might not handle it. I experimented, oh, so it's augmented, not abstract, I'm sorry. I kinda experimented with it in the past, and I had mixed results, in all honesty, with ABNF and automatic parsing. But yeah, that's something you might want to try. What is your main research working topic at Google? So currently it's like two things. One is I'm a technical lead / manager of like people manager of a couple of people. And our focus area is basically internal vulnerability research. Can you recommend a good resource to learn? Oh, that was already answered. Perfect. We can get going in that case. Cool. So we go to Twitter and we try to make some new stuff. Now there are some tutorials, but what I found most useful is this this part, and this part is like a set of aliases. Let's call it aliases for the, I think that's actually a proper term. Yeah, I guess you can also see that you basically write a body of a function. This is already there, and also the closing bracket. And the function u is called 60 times per second, with t being the time in seconds. Yeah, I think that's basically all you can say there. It's important to remember that it's a time in seconds, but it also is a float. So that means it's not like 1 to 3, it's more like 1.17, 1.23, and so on. So it actually increases in 1/60th of a second each time. But unless it's lagging. If it's lagging, then that's going to be different. It's going to be, well, increased with any interval it can do. But at most 60 times per second, and I guess there's also a frame counter here. Now, so that's then we have a couple of aliases. For S is for math sinus, then cosinus, and then tan is, I don't know, tangent. How do you say it in English? Then we have R, which basically creates this, like you give it a value and it creates, let me actually, I'm going to create a notepad for this too. Okay. Yeah, so this basically, what it does, it creates the RGBA notation for, which is used, you know, in CSS and some other stuff, some other like functions. It's sometimes useful instead of like doing this stuff by hand. Concatenating strings by hand, it would be a little bit painful. C is the canvas and X is the context for that canvas. So in JavaScript, yeah, when you create a canvas, the canvas can actually, the canvas is an element you can draw stuff on. And you can create either like a 3D context for it, which is like WebGL, or you can create a 2D context for it, which we already get. So this is 2D context. I guess we could also switch it to WebGL, but I do not believe we have enough characters to do anything meaningful with that. So I'm going to copy paste it here because this might be a little bit useful for us. Okay. And yeah, and the idea for today's stream is basically to play a bit with it. Like see if I can even do a simple effect. Now there are two, like they give us already two hints here. The first hint is this clearing the canvas, and you clear the canvas by just setting its width to whatever. By default, the canvas is the size. You can change the width to whatever size you want it to be. You can just like set it like this. Everything disappeared now because yeah, we probably have to make it a little bit bigger. The nice thing, yeah, now it works. The nice thing here is that it's actually automatically updated. Every character you type in is automatically updated. The not nice thing here is that if I would change this, like for example, want to change this part, it would just freeze for a couple of seconds. There is a timeout, thankfully, but that's about it. It still will freeze for a couple of seconds. Then we have drawing, and the drawing it's quite interesting because so let's actually like set a canvas for 100 to or like make it 200, and then let's set the canvas. I'm going to ignore the limit for now because the way you approach such stuff, like code golfing, usually is you implement what you want and then you start thinking how to make it shorter. So I'm going to ignore it absolutely right now. Now the nice thing about drawing stuff, let's draw a dot somewhere on the screen. The color is set right now to black and the canvas is being like here is being cleared by the white color, right? So yeah, let's just put a small dot here. So you can see it's a little bit blurry. It's blurry because of two reasons. First, I have my browser a little bit stretched out, so the font is a little bit bigger. But the second thing is that this canvas is actually also stretched to the size of this, this canvas, right? It's stretched to the size of. Okay, I think we are back. So sorry for the technical issues, but it should be working now. So I think we can get going. Anyway, so I was saying that, yeah, so we have this blurriness here for actually a couple of reasons. One reason being that I have the browser window a little bit zoomed in, and the other reason being that it basically the canvas element is being stretched out. Now, the nice thing about this fill rect, which is like drawing a filled rectangle, there's also a rect function, or like stroke rect as well. So the nice thing about it is that, we can actually see what's the difference. Let's do alright, this doesn't work well. Stroke rect, yeah, stroke rect is just like drawing the outline of it. Let's do fill. Now, there is one interesting thing here. What you give here is the coordinates, like x, y, like top and left, right? And you here put the width and height, like the size of it, which is, I guess, quite intuitive. The non-intuitive part is that you can also put like fractional numbers, like for example half, or like 7, 8. And what it tries to do anti-aliasing. Which at the end of the day, it basically means that it gives you shades of gray. And this is something I played with a bit when doing, I don't know if you know my JavaScript crack me's. If you go to, if you go to Ginveil and then starbase.html, then you have this, or like starblind.html. There are like two JavaScript crack me's I've made some time ago. So basically, yeah, then I realized that it behaves this way. But we can use this to generate various colors, or rather various shades of gray, without actually having to, change the color. Now, how to change the color is another thing. Let's do it like this, because there is this really long property called fill style, which you set to like red, for example. Or does it not work? I think it was like fill style. Canvas fill rect. Maybe red doesn't work. Let's use this function. Okay. No, I think it was like I'm mixing up the names. Fill style. No, it's fine. It's fill style. Do I have to do it like this? I do have to do it like this. Because probably this resets the style, which is fine. Yeah. So this is the other way I can change the color. And something I noticed that people are doing is that they are not passing all the arguments. Like, for example, this changes only the red color, or rather assigns like the, I guess it assigns the red value to whatever. Let's actually check it. I'm wondering if it behaves like Amiga HAM mode, but I do not believe so. Let's give, yeah, no, it actually sets in this case everything else to 0 if I don't pass everything. So I can change only the red and set everything else to 0, or change red and green, or change like actually all of them. Yeah. So this is, if we want color, we actually have to use that. Yeah, I seem to have some internet problems today. If it happens again, then I'll just postpone the stream for next week. So yeah, so that we are not getting annoyed with the internet going down. Cool. So what I was saying that I don't know. I think that's all we have to know for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this simple stars like moving around, or rather pixels moving around with different speed, or try to do it, and let's see if that actually works. And yeah, I think I'm going to change the canvas size. Now there is a problem, because this actually clears the canvas at the same time, which means that like I cannot use the canvas to hold the state, which is fine actually, because I cannot use any kind of okay, so there are like two ways to approach this effect, right? One is to have a state, and the other one is to not have a state. Okay, let's try to do a loop. Let's start with a loop. Everything starts with a loop. So, or actually, let's do two loops. Again, I'm not going to really do code golfing at this moment, because I will just write the effect and then I will try to make it shorter. So let's make it like this. Oh no, this is for Hive. Okay. Okay. And now we are going to draw a pixel. Fill rect. Yeah, and this is what we get, which is a black screen, because we draw a pixel well, everywhere basically. Let's see if I can make it move it a little bit higher. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, now we need the stars, and the stars we could do with some like random number generator basically, to check if we are at the proper position, and if we are at that position, we should draw a star. And we can also interact, like merge that with the time. So how do we do that? Actually, the time should be, we should create a function of time which gives us the positions of stars, and then we draw at the proper position. Either like, yeah, so if we put 0 here, we get this. If we put 1 here, we get this. So if we do okay, I'm sorry, this is going to be like a TV noise now. If we do math random, yeah, we get this. But I would like it to keep the state. What happens if we do just sinus of time? No, that's actually fine. Yeah, but we have to. Okay, so yeah, we need some random number generator which is always returning the same thing. So which means we have to initialize it here. What kind of random number generator are we going to use? We are going to use, I don't know, like LCG maybe? And living card games. No, linear congruential. I have no idea how to say it. Congruential generator. Yeah, this is what we are going to use because I think it's super simple to implement and super short to implement actually. Yeah, so we set the seed. Where's the general formula? Okay, here we are. Yeah, it's basically like this, right? So we set the seed to something, and we are going to set the seed to always the same number. So we are going to set the seed to, let's set it to 1, 2, 3, because why not? Or like let's set it to 200, because we can do it like this. I said I would not be code golfing, but I guess I'm code golfing already. And then we create a function which will return us always like a random value. Let's call it k. It gets nothing and then it returns a random value, but it also needs to update the seed. So what I could actually do is I could do okay, let's see if this works now, but I'm not sure about this. Okay folks, so it seems my internet is dying from time to time, and I just switched to a different internet connection. It might be a little bit better, but this internet connection is actually quite slow, so I cannot finish the live stream even on this connection, sadly. Well, we can try, but let me know if the quality is bad. In that case, if the quality will be bad, we'll just like call it a day and try it next week. Sorry about the problems. But yeah, like it's the annoying technical world, sadly. Cool. So yeah, do let me know what's the quality. I'm going to try to see if the chat is still working for me. Okay, quality is good, you say, which isn't that bad. Okay, if the quality is good, we can try to continue like this. And if it gets worse or if it gets laggy, then we'll have to finish it for the day. It's also a bit blurry. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, this one is it's a radio connection, so it's not great. I probably should get another connection to my home, like a broadband connection. Anyways, okay, what I was saying, we are using an LCG, so this is the modulo. I'm going to go with like some random modulo. I don't think that matters too much. Or actually, we can use one from the wiki. Let's use, this is the increment, and this is what's the modulo. Okay, so they're using quite high modules, which is fine. We are going to use 2 to the power of does it actually? I think JavaScript actually has this operand nowadays, so let's do it 2 to the power of 16. I don't think even we'll. Let's do like 15 and we'll figure out if we have to do something else. Cool. So we do this, and the return value, this is also going to be the return value basically. So I think it will be enough to just do this, because for arrow functions we do not need the brackets in case we are returning the same stuff. So this is fine. And now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function, which is a random function, and which is yeah, and like let's just call it, and it returns values up to this. So actually no, I'm going to decrease this to 7, and I'm going to remove this because this is probably an error, and that doesn't really work too well. So what do we do that it's oh, right, because I had to set A and C, which I did not obviously. So let's say These are two large values. Yeah, I'm just going to use this value. This is a cool value. Is this, that's a multiplier, and this is the increment in that case. It will not work maybe as great, but okay, this is perfect. So now k is returning some values which still make it paint, okay, which is fine, because this is, again, if anything larger than 1 is here, so if we actually do this, okay, yeah, this is perfect. Now what we can see here is the pattern, right? The pattern is, it's actually quite repetitive, it's not great, but it's not moving either. And we are doing it for every frame, we are clearing the canvas, and then we are making random numbers, and yeah, we can see the pattern. So this isn't great, but we can see the pattern. It should be more like noise-like. I think we have to actually increase the numbers to make it noise-like. So I'm going to put this number here. As you can see, the pattern changed already. Oh no, what we have to change is we have to change this. So let's change it to maybe 16. And here I have to change this to the power of 16 as well. So 2 to the power of 16. Oh yeah, and this is noise-like. This is perfect. So, okay, cool. So actually, I guess like yeah, this is the same. I think we can write this way. No, this doesn't give us the correct. All right, yeah, let's just focus with. No, actually, it should be fine. But I need to write it this way too. It's not great, but still fine pattern, and we are saving a couple of characters. Okay, we are going to use this pattern in that case. Now what I'm going to do actually here is I'm going to go with a, yeah, like something like this. 1d5. This is okay, this is too much. I want basically to get single stars. Like I have a lot of black here and a lot of white here, but still too much. I want just single stars. So let's go with 4. Yeah, this is better. Okay, now this looks like stars, right? So okay, we have stars. We are basically like just generating a random number, and we get stars. Now I want each star to move a bit. So what we have to actually add here is we just have to add to I, we have to add t. So we add to I t, and now we also get a blur, but we have to, so we have to add it, we have to multiply t by some value, because t is just 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Let's multiply it by 20, so it's faster. It's blinking because t is again a fractional value, so what we actually have to do is we have to do this, and now the whole screen is moving. We do not want the whole screen to be moving. We want just the stars to be moving. How do we go about that? We make the... okay, so I would just... Instead of doing this, I would actually go the other way around. As in, I'm going to draw only the stars in this case. But... to draw the stars now. Okay, wait. Do not go. Please, screen, stay here, because I need to think. Okay, the problem is that this function isn't related to the position, and if it would be related to the position, then I could just do what I just did. Another way to approach it is to keep the position of each star in a buffer, which we could do easily because we have the C object, right? Which is a canvas object, but we can add any property to the object, like stars, for example. And we can keep the stars there, like the positions of the stars there, and just like move them around. That's quite easy to do. But I would like to keep this stateless, like without preserving a state between the frames. So how do we do that? Okay, so yeah, I think we'll have to just draw a black background, and yeah, if we would draw a black background, then switch the style to white, then we could move this into an if, and the fill rect would just be So that's one way to do it. We can also start here, maybe in a different position. What happens if we actually do this? Like put t times 10 here. It's not here, like the line below actually. Yeah, it kind of moves. Which is, like, I don't like that it's moving away. I think if I would do an offset here, because here we have 200, if we do 400 here, and we do minus 200 here, okay, this is not bad, not great. This is too slow. Wait, this is bad though. This is not supposed to be like this. Yeah, so 5 FPS, that's also not good. I think we have to change the idea, because the FPS is way too low. So let's change the idea. Let's actually go, let's not go for the stateless, let's go for a stateful one. So if we want to go for a stateful, then we need to create like the array of the stars, right? And to do that, we need to basically set, well, yeah, generate the stars, and then draw them. So c.as, like for stars, is going to be an array, and we are going to put the stars there. We have to do it only once. So I don't know, like for how to do it only once. If we do, I think we can do if c.s, then this, if not c.s maybe. Okay, this doesn't throw an error, so that's fine. Let's put, I'm actually want to check if it really works, so fill rect 10, 10, 10, 10. And no, it doesn't. Now it works. Well, oh wait, there is already an S. Why is there an S? Yeah, we need to change it. Capital S? Okay, so if it's not there, then draw this, otherwise we want to set it to, okay, now it's gone. Okay, that's perfect. So if it's not there, then we want to create the stars. I'm not really code golfing right now. So to create the stars, we just do I equals 0. How many stars do you want? I don't know, we want 20 stars. Let's make it 50 stars. We'll probably have to change that later on anyway. And now we want to put, we can put either two, I would actually put just one value there. And the value would be, what is this? This is up to 2000, that's no, 20,000, right? That's 20,000. I was like 2 times 10 to the power of 5, like, yeah, 2 times 10 to the power of 5, perfect. So that's 20,000. How much is this? This is 20,000 as well, right? 200 times, this is 20,000. This is actually perfect. So what we can do here is we can just go for one value. And here we can do push and the value, which we are just going to like get from the random number generator. And then for each of the star, so we can use the for each value, we are going to do something. And the something is just going to be like put the x fill rect and basically the coordinates. Now the coordinates are going to be I by we are doing a conversion from one 1 dimension to 2 dimension, which you do by like you assume each pixel is basically like 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on, and the next row is going to be 201, 202, 203 and so on, then 401, 402 and so on, or like 400, 401 and so on. So if you divide it by 200, then you get the number of row, like which row are we at, and if you do modulo operation, then you get which pixel in the row you are in. So yeah, that's why we can just do this. And then the same, but the problem is that this is actually a division which is on floating points. So we have to do this little trick, where this little trick is basically ORing the value with 0, which is the same as calling math.round and some value. Which is fine. Then 1, 1, and we just close it. And does it work? It does not work because we are missing a... What are we missing? It's not I, by the way, it's V, obviously. Why? Okay, why does my keyboard not respond? It's stuck in this weird mode. Okay, now it works. Perfect. What's unexpected token? V. So this is V, as I mentioned. Where did I make the syntax error? It doesn't tell me where did I. That's weird. Where's the error? Am I blind? Push. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, usually the way to do it is like this is fine, this is fine. Which part you don't like? Okay, unexpected token. Is it here? It's just that. No. I'm going to add this for a second everywhere. I++. Oh, I+, right. Thank you, chat. Chat, you are amazing. Okay, here we go. Now where are my stars? Well, my stars are not there. It's good that you actually do have, you do have console here. So we can do, what we can do here is, for example, we can do console here, for example, we generate it, then we do console log cs, and we should get, is this even called at least once? Oh, I know, one problem is that after we created once, we actually have to refresh the page. So let's refresh the page, let's go to about, because about doesn't have any other stuff. And yeah, let's go here, and I'm going to copy paste it. And now if we keep the state, this is, yeah, you need to refresh the page from time to time. Yeah, okay, now we have the points. So it's, yeah, and we have, yeah, okay, that's fine. This is fine. One problem is that, is there a problem? No, I didn't believe that there's a problem. I think it's fine. Not all 20 stars are visible here. Let's, oh, 50, it should be 50. That's probably because the ratio is incorrect. Let's do 100. Yeah, and this isn't going to be called now because we need to clear the array. So to clear the array, we do false. We do this, we wait, and we remove it. Okay. Okay, now it's better. So yeah, we get a little bit more stars. I don't think they're rendered here, all of them. And we thankfully we get a lot of CPU, like a lot of frames. We can do it a little bit even. That's a little bit too much. That's, yeah, let's do 500. Okay, 500 is fine. Now we can comment this out. And now we should move each star. Now, how do we move each star? This is actually going to be quite easy, because to move each star, we have to just add a value to it. So we draw it like this, but yeah, so this is where the problematic thing begins. I'm going to need to add an index here. So for CS, yeah, we need to put the CS in somewhere, like, okay, I'll fix it later. So CS of I, and now we just increment the value. To increment the value, what we need is do this, and then increment by how much. And by how much is going to be k, but we are going to change it by, like, do a modulo operation here by 5. So this should give us 5 different speeds actually for it. Okay, I think it would be fine now, but I do need the brackets. So I is the index and V is the value. And then I change it to, and this is fine. Okay, and I get floating stars. These stars are standing here because they are, because I got 0 here, so I just need to +1. Yeah, that was better. Now we just need to flip the colors. And to flip the colors, we need to do the style change, which is going to be a bit painful, I believe. So, okay, so the style change is actually going to be xfill style. We need to, okay, I have absolutely no idea how will this work. If we do 0, 0, 0, what will happen? Nothing will happen. No, that's not good. If we do, well, we need to do this actually here. And we need to do it here. And before we do this, we actually have to do fill rect, like just put it on the whole. Yeah, we can actually, let's code go it a bit. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is quite funny because it first resets the canvas here, and only then it actually fills the, like, calls this function after it resets the canvas. Here what we can do is we can do s by 2. It doesn't work as well as I predicted. Okay, we should probably go with, why are there stars here? Oh, I know why there are stars here. Okay, I know of a mistake which I make, but we are going to fix it in a second. So I'm going, yeah, to do this so we have only this part of the screen. And okay, so this is a clean division. This will be 100. This is fine. We are still, like, above the limit quite a lot for this effect, but that's fine. We are going to fix it soon. Now, the problem is that, like, after the stars, like, you can see there are no stars here. Why are there no stars here? Like, if we actually clear it for a second, we get the stars there again. This is because here we don't, like, this operation is a little bit invalid. Because the whole value should, like, it should go to the bottom and then go back to the top. And to fix it, what we have to do is going to be painful, but we are going to fix it in a sec. We have to do this. Okay, now let's reset it again. No, we don't have to reset. Now, if a star goes, like, below the screen, like this one, for example, if you're tracing it, it will appear there then on the top, which is fine. Okay, so now we have this effect working. We can make, I would actually add some more stars here. So let's do 0. Let's set it to 0. How many stars? Like a bit, yeah, this, like 800. Okay, that's nice. I like it. It's a simple effect. It works. Maybe we are going to slow down them a bit. So I'm going to change it to 4. If we, like, set it just here to 1, then we got, like, all the stars going with the same speed because we are adding the same value. If we change it to 2, then we have 2 speeds. Then if we change it to 3, we have 3 speeds. I think what we could do also here is, like, actually divide it, and then it would be, like, different speeds as well, but this is fine. So I'm going to leave it with 5 speeds, I think. No, this is too fast, so 4 speeds. Yeah, like this. It's fine. Now, the limit. Now, this is where it gets funny. Fewer ones. Okay, so you are. Let's see. Yeah, okay. On the chat, you are suggesting that maybe we should test also with a bit less stars. Yeah, that's fine too. I mean, let's just go with for 300 in that case. CS equals 0. We reset it. We reset the state. Because remember, this is in the loop. Like, this function is in the loop. So if we have a state which we actually attach to the canvas object, we need to, we need to like reset it from time to time after applying any changes to this part. Otherwise, this wouldn't be called because this always exists. Okay, so what do we do now? We are 200. We are 116 characters above the limit. Okay, that's fine. So what do we do first? This number is a little bit large. I'm wondering if we can somehow... We can always do, like, for this number, do... Okay, maybe... A K is actually fine. Okay, we can always do this. So we assign to K 256, and we then replace the 256 with this. We can also have, like, just red stars with removing a couple of more characters, but let's not go over yet. Then I'm going to leave this alone for a second. Then we have this. Yeah. There are quite a lot of characters we can remove here. We can, for example, do this. Okay. I have to scroll up the screen all the time, so let's make it a little bit larger. So we can keep it, I can see that it still works. So we moved it here, then we do not need this. Neither do we need this. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Now, I would actually type this to a different value, because using CS is like 3 characters, right? C.S everywhere, and I would actually tie it to some local variable, let's call it W. I don't think W is used for anything, so W. And this way we can use here, we can use W. Here we can use W, and here, oh, W is not defined. Okay, because it's defined, yeah, I think we have to define this here. And to do that, we have to add another pair of brackets, which is a little bit annoying, but we'll get to. Okay, what happened there? CS equals, let's reset the array. Okay, that's absolutely broke everything. So we have to, okay, we cannot do this. Because we have to, we have to use this here. Now, this should work then. Oh, because we need to also do this. Now it will work. So, C equals 0. Okay. Now it's fine. Because, like, it's the order of things. I'm not really sure about it right now. We might have to revisit this part later as well too. I don't like having this if here, and I'm wondering if there's a way to actually not have this if here. Let's cut a couple of more characters by doing this. Then here, like, I can just write 100 because it doesn't change anything. Okay, we got rid of a couple. We are still like 60, 80, 87 characters to go. Cool. Which part do we optimize next? Yeah, in JavaScript you are suggesting that we can actually here we could use this notation, which we could, and I'm kind of wondering about it, but can we do this? No, we cannot do this because this actually the negation attaches to W, and we cannot allow it to attach to W. Now, I'm a little worried about using this because this will not work with the for loop. So, and we need to run this for only once. So I'm wondering if there's a way to make this for run only once. And also this, can we actually use a generator instead? Are there generators in JavaScript? I think there are generators in JavaScript, right? So let's do for I equals 5, I less than 10, I plus plus, and return I. That doesn't work as a generator. JavaScript generator. There are generators in JavaScript. Okay, oh, you need to do a function. I hope we do not. I hope there is like a shorter syntax for that. That's a really long syntax. I do not want to use it. Okay, so let's not go for that idea. Yeah, we can change this with S, which you... right, and we can also change it with S here. We can change it with S here. We need to reset it though. Oh, why doesn't it? Why did it actually break something? Do we overwrite S somewhere? That's pretty weird. What's going on here? Because S is set here to 200, right? Do we set it anywhere else? I don't believe... Oh, we do. Right. Because we set it for the seed. So... Yeah. Yeah, we cannot use S here because that will bring all sorts of trouble. We should introduce a different letter for that. I'm wondering if there is like a clever way to do it. We have K set to this value. Let's actually change it. Let's put S here and change this to K. Like, so yeah, we are now initializing K to 200 and we are initializing S to whatever, because seed can be whatever. Like, this has to be a constant value, but it has to be whatever. So we can like just assign this the color value. We want the white color value, that's fine. And then we get suddenly in K, we get, oh, but we overwrite K here. So it cannot be K, it has to be M. I hope there's nothing under M. And we can use M here. So we get 4 more characters. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you say that like we should just go with M here as well, because it's almost white. Wait. But or we can just change it here to be 255, right? Like the width, that doesn't really, well, that kinda matters to us because we are here using the 20,000. But yeah, I agree that we should somehow change it. So how do we change it? We actually switch this to no, but we cannot switch. We still need 2 different variables for that. So I would leave it as is for now and maybe figure it out later how to change it. Okay. Cool. So we have this, then we have this fill. I do not like having this fill rectangle here and having it here as well. This is quite a lot of characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually assign it to a different variable, p. I hope we have nothing under p, so I'm going to do this. That's an illegal invocation. Why is it an illegal invocation? I think it's fine. Why doesn't JavaScript think it's fine? Because it's assigned, right? Illegal invocation. In Python that would work. It's a native code, but I think it's not assigned to it needs a this, and I cannot do it like this. I can do another thing though. So instead of doing this, I can, because it's JavaScript, right? So this is the same syntax as this. So I can do this. P equals this, and here instead I can do P. Yeah, and this works as well. Now, did that actually save us any characters is my question. Let's go back. Okay, we have, yeah, it saved us exactly one character. Well, that's something. Yeah, we'd have to use bind, right? I'm not sure I want to use bind. That's like a lot of characters. So let's not go with bind. Let's like keep it like this. Maybe we'll revisit the idea later. Okay. Cool. Can we change these values to be a little bit shorter? Can we just change this to be like this? No, because the pattern then breaks. Okay, we have this, and this is the moment I'm going to cheat. Right? It's a good moment to cheat. So let's go with cheating. How are we going to cheat? We are going to cheat by looking how other people are doing it. And so let's, well, this is a hacking live stream, right? So we should cheat a little bit at least. So we go to, let's say new, or actually let's say top. There's some amazing stuff here, like absolutely check it out. There is like the cavern thing, for example, it's absolutely amazing. Now what I'm looking for is, and this one, exactly. This is obfuscated. It looks like somebody is using some clever trick, like killed by a pixel is using some clever trick, but they are not using a clever trick. But they are one step away from a clever trick. And I actually looked at it, and I was trying to like write a compressor, and I actually succeeded in writing a compressor using some methods for Twitter over the weekend. But then I think Yuru pointed me to this, and we started like thinking, what is this person doing here? And this is just obfuscation. This is not doing anything else than just obfuscating. It's basically, these are like Unicodes, which are in the form of whatever. Like first two characters are like whatever, AB, and then there is actually the actual XX character. Now, if you run it through the escape function, you are going to get, I believe, percentage U, AB, and whatever. And then they are removing U and two following characters. It's just removing, like replacing it with an empty string. So out of this, we get percentage XX. And this is an obfuscation. But this is a couple of characters away from compression. Or actually not compression, because the limit here, this is not a limit in bytes. This is a limit in characters. So what we can do here instead is we can change this into percentage U AB, percentage U XX. That's just like a really simple, really similar regular expression as well. And this is what we are going to do, because that gives us 2 bytes for each character. We change one Unicode character into 2 bytes, and this is what we are going to do. Yeah. I guess like there might be a question, should this be allowed on Twitter, or I don't know, it works. So as long as it works, then we can try it. Just for fun, just because this is at the end of the day a hacking live stream. Okay, so we have to write a compressor for our stuff. We are going to do it in JavaScript, because I mean, what else would you do it in? So let's call it c.js. And I'm going to put this code, which is our code which we created, right, for the stars. I'm going to put it in a file like test, or like, yeah, test.js is fine. Okay, so this is our code which we'll be compressing. And now here we go. Okay, and I absolutely do not remember Node.js because I'm just learning it, so node file system. But I think it was like read file sync, but we want to call here. sync. Here we go. Okay, so that would be const fs equals require. I'm doing it in JavaScript because it's like the same engine, which is basically running on that website, right? To avoid any problems with like Python handling something this way, but JavaScript handling something the other way. So fs read file sync, and I code our my code test.js, and let's see what we get here. And I need to launch a Linux console. Okay, and the Linux console is not launching, which is a little bit... I know why it's not launching. It's not launching because I switched to a different internet card, and that broke all my routing on my PC, which is going to be annoying. How do I connect to my Linux in that case? Please bear with me a second because I have more interfaces I can use for connection. I just need to figure out which one I can use. Okay, here we go. Okay, does this work? Okay, it works. I just need to move to... sorry, I'm changing also the size of the font. Okay, here we go. Sorry for that. We are now in the proper directory, I believe. Okay, perfect. So we can continue. I thankfully had... No, it's pretty weird that it stopped working. It should work. Anyway, whatever. Node CJS, and yeah, it's a buffer, which means we can basically do const. We are not going to modify it. Oh, that's actually fine. We are going to, however, create... let's just create a string. So let s be a string, and then for let I, actually like just for each b. So b for each. Does it work? Let's see. Let's see if it works. But c and okay, and let's do s. We add to it. Okay, let's just start with adding this, like just the character code console log, and see what we get. I'm not super proficient with what did you S obviously. Okay, yeah, we got this, which is fine. Now we need to change the number. Oh, I hope we get a number. Are we getting a number? Yeah, now we get a number to string 16, so we get a hex value. Okay, now we're getting a hex value. But the problem with the hex value is that, so let's do let hex value like hx is equal to this, and then we need to prefix it basically. So if hx.length is 1, then we prefix hx with a 0. And then we add hex to it, and we should get this. Perfect. And now we actually put a percentage sign here. Okay, so now we got most of it. Because we can now... but yeah, what we want to do actually is we want to remove every second percentage sign. I'm going to try to do it with a regular expression, but as the old saying goes, if you have a problem and you solve it with a regular expression, now we have two problems. But I'm still going to try to do it. So let's do a replace, s equals replace percentage sign, then whatever, then another percentage sign and another whatever. And I'm going to try to replace it with, oh, this is going to be group 1 and this is going to be group 2, by the way. And then I'm going to replace it with percentage sign. And I absolutely don't remember how do I put the groups. I'm going to attempt to say that it's like this. It doesn't actually do G. Oh, I need, yeah, sorry. Okay, I think it worked. Yeah, we have like 5b and we have this. And now I'm a little worried about the last character, but the last character is just like this. So it's fine. Okay. And yeah, this is fine. Now we can unescape it. I think there's like an escape as well here. Let's see. And we got doesn't work like it. Oh, right, because we should do Unicode here. Okay, now we get some weird looking characters, but that's fine. Which is fine. And now we... Okay, so this is fine. Now we get these characters, and I want these characters to be written into a file, so let's just do it like this. And I want them to be written into file like output.js, and I'm going to open the file here. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to put it on Twitter. Yeah. So let's put it on Twitter. Twitter probably doesn't want to have anything to do with whatever this is, but that's fine. So now I'm going to grab this one, but without getting evil yet. And then I'm going to grab this thing. Okay. And however, I'm going to go with console log. So we can take a look what's going on. And yeah, we got part of the code right. It's not yet correct. And we are over the limit anyway. So we'll go, well, a bit over the limit, but that's fine. What we want to do here is we want to replace this. We want to actually grab the group. And we want to replace it with a percentage, then the group, and then another percentage, I believe. Too many percentages signs. Or, yeah, because we already have one percentage, so yeah. And now we get the code, right? You can see we get the code. So we are still a couple of characters over the limit. We are going to change this to evil, however, it does work. So yeah, we now need to, we basically have everything, we just need to get 20 more characters below the limit to be able to use this this compression scheme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and change. So there are a couple of things we can do. First of all, at the end of the output there is the new line here. We can just remove it, like no new lines are needed. Actually, we are going to go for yeah, we are going to go for a place where we have no new lines. So before even we get here, what we are going to do is we are going to replace every new line with not a new line. So 0a is going to be replaced with nothing. Perfect. And now we are actually going, when logging out, we are going to add the, I'm sorry, that's not it, this prefix, so we do not have to append it manually. And then we do s, and then we do whatever. And yeah, so I said 20 characters. No, it's not 20 characters, it's like 40 characters. It's not even that, a little bit less. But that's fine. Okay, cool. And yeah, let's see if it removes the new line, which is fine. I'm going to play with the test a little bit. Where is my test? It's not opened. Because there are some new lines here. I do not care about these new lines, but let me remove them. There are some spaces here which I could remove as well. And So I'm actually going to copy paste it again here, and I'm going to try to make it a little bit smaller. So to make it a little bit smaller, I can remove this, I can make a comma here, and it still works, and that means that I can also remove these brackets. No, it doesn't mean that I can remove the brackets. So okay, the brackets have to stay, which is sad, but we'll get there at the end anyway. Now I'm wondering if this for each is actually worth it. Would it be faster if we just go with a typical for? Maybe we can use the same for. Yeah, we can use the same for, because so yeah, let's do it the other way around. We are going to do a for, and the if is going to be inside the for. This is what I'm aiming at. So this is the current code. Now inside we are going to do something else. If this is not defined, then we are going to, oh no, but we cannot define it. Okay, we can do something else here. We can do c.s or this. Okay, and now it's perfect. And now if it exists, we do something, else we do this push thingy. Oh, this is an interesting effect, by the way. Going to reset it. Let's see if it still works. It doesn't work. Okay, so the way this should work is that it should check, it should see if this is defined or not defined. It's 0 now, so it's not defined. Well, 0 is like a false value. So if it's a false value, then it goes here, which is creates a new array. And in JavaScript, it's like this expression works a little bit different than in other languages, because it doesn't return a true or false value. It returns whichever was the true, whichever component was true. So it either returns this one if it was true, or returns this one if it was true. So it returns like an empty array the first time, and the other time is going to return this one. Okay, now, okay, we do this, and if we are doing this, we do not need this. Oh, but it's a little bit more problematic, because we do not know if we are doing it the first time. So, but we can, actually JavaScript supports sparse arrays. So we can do if w of I is something, then something, otherwise push it, which is better. Now we don't need to do this. Instead, we can grab this and move it here to this else. I'm going to optimize it a little bit in a second, so we are going to go below a couple of characters. Let's change this. This is not needed. Then we need, the v is not set here, because we need to set v to w of I. And this is not going to work for 0, by the way. And I'm not sure if this is actually going to work as expected. Let me take a look. Let's assume that I have create an array. So A is an array. And then, oh, by the way, the trick I'm using is if A already exists, then something, otherwise, let's create a new array with ASDF, and now if we look at A, it's actually A because it already existed, right? Now, let's see what happens if I do this. This gets undefined, so if of undefined should actually be, this should actually be, sorry, be considered to be a false. Yeah, it's considered to be a false. So this is what I'm relying at. If it's false, then we go here and we push it to. A push is a little bit long, so I would prefer to do this again. Okay, now let's, but it still doesn't, okay, now it works. Okay, so this is fine. Now we have way too much stuff here. First of all, this is a separate line, but we could actually just use it here. Okay. Now let's go a little bit. I'm going to make the window a little bit bigger again so we can edit the code. I'm going to reset it again. Okay, it works. We are still at 60 FPS, which is also good. Then here we can use V again. So that gets us another character. Then we absolutely do not need the bracket here. We can just remove it. We can do this, and this saves us another bracket. And since this is a one large expression, we do not need this bracket either, so we already saved some more characters. Now, okay, so we have 204, which is a little bit better. Okay, I see Vic actually is suggesting to do this, which is an excellent idea, because that saves us 4 more characters. Thank you, Vic. Okay, we do not need this space. We do not need this new line. We need this space here. And we actually need else. Yeah, we need else here. Otherwise, we can go with a semicolon here. Okay, now what else can we do here? Well, that's already something, right? So I'm going to copy paste it to test, and let's see how many characters are we still missing. This is 200. Oh, we got like 20 characters out of the way already, which is fine. We'll get there. Let's code golfing for you. You just work character by character. Let's call this to output, and let's reset the CS. Is equals 0. Okay, and where is my output? Here's my output. Let's take a look. How far are we? 146 and an unexpected identifier. I have no idea where. Just show me what the... just console log. Okay, because we removed all the new lines, and we cannot remove all the new lines. Apart from that, we are... Like, if everything would work, we are 6 characters away, so that's 12 characters we still need to... need to go. Which is fine, we are getting there. Let's do this. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to change all the new lines to actually a semicolon, because that's... yeah, but what's works, so that way it will work as well if we remove all the new lines in our script, because the new line is just supposed to remove the one from the end, but I'm too lazy to code it in the compressor. Yeah. Now it starts looking like a code gold, right? It's like, yeah, like if you'd get this in production code, you'd just like learn who did it and then be sure they never write any code again. But thankfully this is not production code and we can have fun. Great. I'm wondering if we can change this if-else to the same notation we had with the double... that would save us some characters. Can we do... Oh, we can change it to a short if regardless of everything else. Let's just remove this, do this, and here change it to a colon, and that's why don't you like me? Does it not like the comma which I have there? Yeah, it doesn't like the comma. Okay, so this is a short if. Did that get us any... How many characters do we have here? Yeah, it got us 3 characters, so that's something. Do we need this? We need this, otherwise, yeah, we need this. Cool. Okay, what next? This is pretty long, but I don't think we can do anything smart with it. There's 300 here. Can we do anything with the 300 here? We can change it to M. And then we have 200. Only 200 stars. Are we fine with having 200 stars? Well, we are fine with having 200 stars, I would say. So let's do this. I'm going to reset the array. Yeah, it's not a huge change, actually. And that's not 200 stars. Where are my 200 stars? Most of the stars are not displayed here for some reason. Maybe I'm going to change the size of the window for a bit. No, that's not 200 stars. That's pretty weird, but whatever. I don't even want to start thinking where did I lose my stars right now. We still have to lose characters. Yeah, so no, because we changed the S. So you are suggesting that to use this S here, but we are changing the S. This is just the seed, and we are changing it every time we are calling K. So we cannot reuse this value. This value goes away. That's why we are using this. We could actually set this to M, though, and that saves a couple of characters and makes the stars a little bit like, yeah, grayer. I don't think that's a huge change, actually, so I'm just going to leave it at M. Now, I cannot touch M because this value is strictly related to M. Like to both height and width, actually. That's the multiplied height and width. We could use like a couple of more characters to save this value, but no. Extra stars below the height. I think that's the case, actually. But why would that be the case? We are doing a module of 20,000. This is 20,000. There is some mistake I'm doing somewhere in the code. Is this like... Because this is the... let me do like console log... What was the name of the V? Okay. Okay, stop. Oh, the values are here actually. Hey, am I... Okay, sorry, I think I messed up. It's 2p5, it's 200,000. Sorry, that should be 4. And this should be 4 as well. Yeah. Now, we found our stars, yay! Perfect. We are still alone in the universe, but now we found our stars. I'm not sure that actually is a great thing that we found them, because now we need to figure out how to make this a little bit smaller. Because there are too many stars now. Yeah. Yeah, there are too many stars now. I do not have a great way to minimize the amount of stars without adding characters. We can have 10 stars and we can, yeah. I'm going to lose the stars again. Let's just lose the stars again, actually. C equals 0, yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So we found the stars when I lost the stars again, because, yeah, I liked fewer as well. Okay, we are still missing a couple of characters. What are we going to do about the couple of characters? If we actually add a value here, a parameter which is not existing and not used, we are going to save a character. Because we do not need the brackets if there is a... it's not something I just figured out, I think I've read it on some tips. Okay, here V, you say V, yeah, absolutely V. Thank you, that's another couple of characters. Here, okay, you're saying, but we need S to be initialized to something. We need the seed to be initialized. And that's why we are using this, because we are initializing it to 200. Can we initialize it to anything different? Can we initialize it to 0? What happens if we leave it uninitialized though? That's wrong, we have to do this and this. No, S is not defined, so this is not great. We have to define S. here, otherwise it just all breaks. Can we define it in a weirdish way? I don't think so, so we have to leave it for now. What if we actually define it here? Okay, let's try it. This is going to be fun. No, because this is a local variable now, which isn't helping because it needs to be global variable. Well, global like out of not what I wanted to achieve. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How many characters do we still need? I don't think we need a lot of characters. That's output. This is test. Let's do this. So I'm going to call it again to make sure that this actually is reloading. Okay, yeah, that's reloading. We are 2 characters away, basically, so 4 characters. So let's say we are 4 characters. I don't think we can optimize anything here. Let's see if it works, even if we like do this. Yeah, it works. So that's okay. So let's go back to trying to remove another character here. It's getting harder and harder. Any brackets I could lose? I don't think so. Can I set the I to 0 somewhere else? Yeah, I can set the I to 0 here. Does it help me if I do that? I can lose 3 characters, 4 characters. Ah, see how many characters I could lose. Okay, welcome back, I think. So I just did, I just lost a couple of characters here, which I guess I'm going to show you again what I did. Yeah, because this is what we have right now in the if, right? We have this, like we need to initialize I to 0, so I decided to just initialize it outside of a loop here. So we initialize it here, and then like, yeah, like basically we get rid of this part of like the comma and this, so that's like 2 characters less. Actually, yeah, we just get rid of 4 characters, add 2 characters, so that's 2 characters we gain. Are these the 2 characters? We still need like a character or 2 of them. Set the height to just the same value. Like, yeah, I think that's the way to go, actually. Let's set the height to the same value. In that case, we have to do this. What did I just break? Oh, because we are doing a fill rect at the same time. So, oh, but we can do, in that case, yeah, okay, that's fine. Now, the problematic part is, I don't think there's a problematic part, we have to do this. Okay, and it still works. And we get like a little more height here, which is fine. Is this... Oh, what was that doing there? Okay, I think that's about it, what we are going to do. That should be enough. You are suggesting to do this, which is a really smart thing to... Oops, I'm sorry about that. This will lose us 1 star, which I absolutely do not care about. So this is a really good idea, maryush, to do this. We can move the assignment, this assignment, somewhere else. We are doing this. Can we move the assignment, though? I don't think we can move the assignment. Oh, maybe... Oh. Oh. Oh, now I get it. Yeah, we can save a couple of characters here by moving the assignment. How would we do that? We can do... Oh yeah, this is going to be nice. We can do v of I equals to then this, right, before I go over how many, we have 182 characters, so we do v of I equals this, but then what we can do is we can actually lose this, and we can lose this. Because the last value of this expression in the brackets after comma, which is this, will be assigned to v of I, and the last value of this, which is like just k, is going to be assigned to this. This is a really nice idea, and it saved us multiple characters. I'm going to reset this to just set, yeah, if it works. Yeah, good idea, Vic. That was a really good call. Yeah, like going this way, we don't even have to cheat. Like we are 37 characters away from actually having this code work without the compressor. I have another compressor which is a little different in the way how it works. Maybe we should try that as well, maybe, or maybe not. Anyway, let's just go to output, remove this, can save it, let's do this, and yeah, here we go. 137 characters, so that should be fine. Okay, let's remove state, and yeah, it works. So yeah, with a little cheating with the compression here, it actually works. And we have a star effect with the state being held. Now without the state, I'm pretty sure it should be a little bit even shorter. Now, but I'm going to... Let's take a look actually if we can squeeze any more character here out of this. Because this already works. I'm going to post it on Twitter because why not? Like maybe somebody else wants to play with a compression bit. Can we do anything else here to save a couple of characters? Can we save like 30 characters, 37 characters still out of this? I'm not sure. What is eating most of characters right now? This function is eating quite a lot of characters, like the random function. Can we change the random function to be a little bit shorter? Maybe one of the values can be, like, can this value, how many characters is this value? This is 4 hexadecimal characters, I guess. I'm wondering if I can write any value in hexadecimal, so it would be actually better. How does the compressor work? No, the compressor works like yeah, we just written it. It's stupid. It just does bit concatenation basically. Yeah, long story short, it takes every character, like every character C, and it then like, so if there are like 2 characters like letter A and letter B, so that's A and B, right? It emits this at first, and then it changes to this, which is after you call an escape on it, which is done here, you get a Unicode, one single Unicode character, which is like, has this value. And almost all characters are valid in that range, so that's fine. And then what we do in the other way, going the other way around, we replace the U, so we again escape it, so we have the Unicode character, which I'm going to denote like this. Then we escape it, and we get %u this, and we change the U with the group to the group, and then and this. So this basically removes the U, and that's another % here, and then we call unescape, which returns us to AB, like from this scenario. So this is how it works. It just abuses the fact, this is like totally abusing the fact that the length here is not in bytes, the length here is in characters. And because of Unicode, you can squeeze multiple bytes into one character. You can squeeze up to 3 bytes. If you do it correctly, if you do it correctly, you can squeeze 3 ASCII characters, up to 3 ASCII characters, that's actually between 2 to 3, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, per one Unicode character. But since we are doing, what we are doing here is basically we are using all 8 bits of a byte, we cannot do it, because Unicode is just too short. If we would use only 7 bits, and that's enough, then we can squeeze between 2 to 3 characters per each Unicode character. The problem is that the decompressor for that is actually way, way longer than this, and I have not found a way to make it shorter. Okay, yeah. I don't think this can be shortened either. This, I'm pretty sure we could find a different function which is also returning random values which can be shortened. I'm wondering if there's a way, like for example, do we have to, what happens if we just don't do this? Yeah, the entropy breaks, which is not great. What happens if we decrease this value a bit? Maybe everything still works, but no, this value should be large. This value can be a little bit shorter, I think, so let's do it like this. And it should be, like, as long as this is prime. I think this is prime, right? Because these should be prime values in general. Prime is, no, it's not a prime number. What's the nearest prime number? It's like 13 prime. Is it 13? No, is 17 prime. It's not prime. Why is it not prime? 21. Oh yeah, 21. So 4 to 1. Let's use 4 to 1 here. I'm not sure if this is a great idea. Let's actually do equals 0. Let's reset. Yeah, it's actually fine. Yeah, it looks fine. That's not great, but looks fine. Okay. Yeah, I see that you suggested on the chat also a little bit different values, which is also fine. So that's fine. This we can leave it as is. I don't believe there is a way to shorten it a lot. We could use this, but that's 2 characters. And no, but I was thinking of like doing x equals something and then using the x here, but that will actually like not save any characters at all. Yeah, this is pretty long. I do not like how long this is. I'm also not sure if I can do anything here. I also cannot do anything here. What about this bracket? Can I get rid of this bracket? No, I already tested it and that didn't work. Can I get rid of this bracket? No, I cannot. Can I, what's W? Oh, it's the value, okay. Sorry, what's V? This is the random, okay, we have 2 calls to the random number generator function, which, yeah, it's fine, we cannot do anything about that. I think I'm going to call it a stream for now. It's already 10 p.m. So yeah, I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to like just push this code in. I cannot push it in this version on Twitter, but I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it on my GitHub, I guess. So let's just go to GitHub. Stream en, but stream -en, I think. Yeah. I'm going to create a new directory here with today's episode number, and I'm going to push this code. I'm going to push the compressor, like this code, which is nasty, but okay. And I'm going to push the compressed version as well. If you'd like to play with it and try to get this effect into like 140 characters, then absolutely try it. And I think, yeah, I think that's it. Then yeah, try it. Just I don't know, send it somewhere, send it to me, or like post it on our Discord. That would be the best. If you post it on our Discord on Challenges channel, then I'm going to see it. And in general, have fun with Twitter. I'm going to play a bit with it more. This is like a super simple effect. I'm thinking of making something more fun as well. But yeah, like this site is amazing. I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed doing a stream about it. So let's go today. And yeah, are there any questions? There are some questions, so let's go with questions. The questions will appear there. If you have any questions, !Q and then the question. When you fast some programs that get some kind of file format like PDF or MP4, how do you know when to kill the process? Does it require config tweaking, or there are some generic ways to do it? There's usually a timeout you set. Maybe my script is broken and so it doesn't actually show the question. Let's try it again, so maybe it now shows the question. Anyway, I don't think there's a generic way to do it. It really depends on the case. You usually set a timeout to, I don't know, like 1 second, half of a second, depending on how fast is your fuzzing. Ideally, if you can actually get to know when all the processing has ended, then that's great because it just exits, right? If it's a UI application, then it will probably not exit. Do check if there are some ways you can like force it to exit after processing. Don't be afraid to modify the application to exit after processing. After you render all the pages, then just exit. Apart from that, just a timeout. This is what comes to my mind. And a timeout, you always have to set the timeout, because if you trigger a condition which is going to put the application into an infinite loop, you need a timeout anyway. Yeah, my script is broken also due to changing the interface IPs. Oh well. The question is, do we need I? Can we iterate through m minus minus? We could iterate through m minus minus, but we could save a couple of characters that way. That's a really good idea. Maryush, yeah, good idea. We can also use color to... Oh, you cannot make color. Use color, okay. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, another question. Are you going to do some challenges from the CSCG CTF? Probably no. CSCG CTF was that. Cybersecurity Challenge Germany qualification CTF. No, probably no. I didn't play it, and I usually do only challenges from the CTFs which I played. Sorry about that. But yeah, I try not to... to put it another way, I do not really have time to prepare streams, so everything which you see on the streams is really live. I do not do almost any preparations before it. So yeah, if I didn't solve the challenge, I'm probably not going to do it live stream, because it will probably take more time than the stream takes time. With one exception being Pico CTF, because the challenges there are rather simple. Jacob writes, what's the coolest prize you've gotten from a CTF competition? The coolest prize? Good question. Like one funny thing was that, like, usually you get cash prizes, usually. Sometimes you get some swag as well. I think like the Insomniac CTF is the funniest one, because there you get like small pieces of gold or small pieces of silver, because for some reason they cannot give out cash prizes, but they can give you like a small bar of gold instead, which I think is quite funny and quite cool. I think that's about it. I don't think there's like some super cool swag which is given out. Usually it's cash prizes, which is great. I mean, from a perspective of a CTF team, right? You use the prizes to fly your folks to different competitions. So it's great to just get cash, because that way you can just buy tickets to go to the next competition. And hotels and so on. Okay, this one was already answered. Can we check this packer? And there's like a JavaScript compressor. Okay, let's actually take a look. GS compressor, code to compress, perfect. We are going to put our code into it, which is already quite short. And it says it expected what? That line. Yeah, I don't think it likes our code. So yeah, it doesn't seem to like our code. So yeah, we checked it, it doesn't work. I think we have an older version of the code, which we can probably check. So yeah, we have the older version. So I'm going to copy the older version here. No, it absolutely does not like our code. That's not unexpected. It probably like expects standard JS syntax. Phariseus writes that WCTF gave a wax seal with team logo. That's cool. Yeah, they were like at some year one of the conferences also gave for winning the CTF time rate ranking. They also gave like a nice, not a trophy, but something like a trophy, which is pretty cool. Like it's somewhere in the back there. Yeah, Viehu also suggests that here we could still use like I, but we could go down instead. Yeah, that would save a couple characters as well. That's a good point. Yeah, like play with it. Code golfing on Twitter is really amazing. What do you think about Rust and how it can impact C++ popularity in the observable future? Good question. It seems to be gaining ground, and like more and more products are being written in it. So that's a nice stuff going canvas for Rust. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to gain to like really. I'm not sure if folks are going to assume it's really that much better than C++ to be worth switching to. From the security perspective, it would be great if folks would switch to Rust. Now, from a programming perspective, Rust isn't much easier to write than C++, I would say. So folks might just like say that, hey, it's easier to write the stuff in C++, so let's just stay with C++. Especially that they don't have to deal with all the weird Rust stuff there. So that might be one of the problems that Rust will have. But we'll see, it's gaining ground right now, so let's see how far it goes. I don't think C or C++ is going anywhere because, well, there's so much code, so many open source libraries, so many APIs created for C and C++ in operating systems, for example, that, yeah, it's not going anywhere. So, yeah. Okay, Viehu, I'm not sure what you mean with check ECMAScript. I mean, ECMAScript is JavaScript, right? So... yeah, I'm unsure what you mean. Sorry. Just yell at me at IRC. Is this R2D2 in my background, like there? Here, like this thing, this robot standing. No, it's the robot overload, which oversees all and every of my moves and makes sure I don't reveal any secrets. True story. Send help. I always wanted to make that joke. Anyway, I think that's it for today. So thank you for being here. Enjoy Twitter. I'm going to put my stuff on GitHub. And yeah, see you next week. Hopefully my internet connection will actually work there. So that's it. I'm going to leave you with some music. Bye-bye. And thank you to my moderator. I'm sorry, KrzaQ. Thank you to my moderator for being here and also for writing the awesome bot. Yeah, now see you. I'm going to leave you with some music.